Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when the easy road no longer satisfies the soul. When the comfort zone becomes a prison, when waiting becomes wasting, that moment, my friend, is now. If you're waiting for perfect timing, you'll be waiting forever. If you're waiting for someone to rescue you, you'll remain a prisoner. And if you think your future is tied to luck, let me remind you, luck is nothing more than preparation meeting opportunity, and opportunity only bows to those who have the courage to push themselves. Push yourself. Why? Because no one is coming to do it for you. The world does not reward hesitation. It does not applaud excuses. It doesn't care how difficult your past has been. The world pays in full the man or woman who dares to demand more of themselves and then follows through with relentless action. You are more powerful than you've been told. Inside of you is the ability to turn your pain into fuel, your setbacks into strategies, your fear into fire. But none of it activates until you make a decision to push. Do you want more from life? Then give more to it. Wake up earlier, work harder, learn faster, stay longer, focus deeper, believe bigger. Do not negotiate with weakness. Do not ask fear for permission. Step into the arena with everything you have and make IT happen. You will fall. You will fail, but each fall is a lesson, each failure a mirror. And if you're willing to study the mirror, it will reveal the very thing holding you back. Not your enemies, not your circumstances, but the part of you that refuses to push. You must push past laziness, push past doubt, push past fatigue, push past your former self. Every champion you admire once stood where you stand, uncertain, uncomfortable, unknown. But they pushed, and because they pushed, the world was forced to take notice. Discipline is the doorway. Effort is the key, and desire, pure, burning, definite desire, is the fire that powers the engine. You can have the life you dream of. But you must build it with your own hands, with your own sweat, with your own will. The secret is no secret at all. Push yourself. Make it happen. Don't wait for the perfect day. Don't wait until you feel ready. Success doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do. So do the work. Take the step. Face the fear. Break the limit. Rewrite your story. Burn the ships. Commit. Decide. And then act with such force that the universe has no choice but to open the gates. No more talk. No more delay. You have everything you need right now. To begin, the only thing missing is you. Push yourself. Make it happen. There is a universal law that governs every success, every breakthrough, and every elevation of man. The law of responsibility. Until a person accepts, without hesitation or excuse, that their life is the sum total of their own choices, nothing meaningful can ever be achieved. The man who blames others for his condition has already surrendered his power. He has handed over his will to circumstances, and in doing so, forfeits his future. Understand this well. As long as you believe your life is controlled by anything outside of you, you will remain exactly where you are. Your background may explain you, but it does not define you. Your past may have bruised you, but it cannot bind you. You may have been born in poverty, raised in hardship, or betrayed by those closest to you. But the moment you decide to take full ownership of your life, you rise above all of it. A man becomes powerful the moment he stops asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and instead asks, "What am I going to do about it?" Look around. The most successful individuals in any walk of life are not those with the best starting points. They are not always the smartest, the richest, or the most connected. They are the ones who looked themselves in the mirror and said, "I am responsible for what happens next." This is not an easy truth. Responsibility demands everything from you. Your focus, your energy, your decisions, your habits. It does not leave room for complaining or for self-pity. But it is also the most liberating truth you will ever embrace, because once you understand that you are the author of your life story, you realize you can also be the editor. You can rewrite the script, you can redirect the plot, you can choose a different ending. There is no man more dangerous than the one who finally understands that he is in control. But let me warn you, the world will try to convince you otherwise. It will tell you that you're a victim, that you're powerless, that your situation is someone else's fault. Why? Because it is easier to control a man who does not believe in his own strength. Refuse that lie. Refuse the narrative that your destiny is determined by your past, your environment, or your disadvantages. The world owes you nothing. No one is obligated to believe in you, support you, or understand your vision. That responsibility is yours and yours alone. If you want a better life, take responsibility. If you want success, take responsibility. If you want freedom, wealth, peace of mind, or greatness, take responsibility. You are not here to be a servant to your circumstances. You are here to command them, but first you must command yourself. Discipline your thinking, discipline your decisions. Refuse to give your time and energy to what does not serve your future. Start today. If you are broke, take responsibility. If your health is failing, take responsibility. If you are surrounded by negativity, take responsibility. This is not about shame or guilt. It is about reclaiming your power. You cannot change what you do not own. And when you do take full responsibility, you awaken something extraordinary, the power of initiative. Initiative is the spark of all creation. It is the force that says, I will not wait, I will not beg, I will not complain, I will move, and move you must. Because action is the only cure for stagnation. Responsibility leads to action, and action leads to transformation. But it must begin with the man in the mirror. There is no secret formula, no magic pill. Only the simple, undeniable truth that you are responsible for everything in your life from this moment forward. You may not be responsible for how it started, but you are responsible for how it ends. So rise, stand tall, and declare not to the world but to yourself, I am in charge, I am accountable, I am responsible, and I will make it happen. Because once you take full responsibility, the world will begin to bend slowly at first, and then all at once toward your will. Fear is the invisible chain that holds more men back than poverty, injustice, or failure ever could. It is silent, it is subtle, it whispers in your mind, disguising itself as logic, as caution, as comfort. But make no mistake, fear is the enemy of progress, and unless you confront it, it will rob you of every opportunity life presents. Discomfort, too, is not your enemy, it is your compass. Where you feel resistance, that is the very place you must go. Where you feel hesitation, that is where your power is waiting. It is easy to remain where it feels safe. It is comfortable to stay with the familiar, but comfort has never built empires. Comfort has never discovered new worlds, and comfort will never fulfill your destiny. Every person who has ever accomplished anything of significance had to first confront their own fear. They had to look it in the face and say, you will not rule me. They had to walk through discomfort like it was a fire and emerge stronger because of it. Fear only has power when you obey it, when you listen to it, when you give it your time, your energy, your belief. The moment you defy it, you weaken it. The moment you act in spite of it, you grow beyond it. You must not wait for fear to go away. It won't. You must move forward while it still stands in your path. That is the price of growth. That is the price of success. And that is the price of freedom. Discomfort is the training ground for greatness. The pain of discipline, the sting of failure, the weight of uncertainty, these are not punishments. They are preparation. They are the tests that separate the committed from the curious, the doers from the dreamers. You cannot become strong without resistance. You cannot become wise without challenge. You cannot build courage without fear. So instead of avoiding these things, lean into them. Let them do their work. Let them refine you, stretch you, transform you. Your future will not be built on what you enjoy. It will be built on what you endure. Most people run the moment they feel pressure. They quit when things get difficult. They make excuses when faced with adversity. But if you want to rise above average, you must learn to endure what others avoid. You must be willing to do what others refuse. Push yourself, not once, not sometimes, but every single day. Push through the mental fog, push through the fatigue, push through the voice in your head that says, "This is too much." That voice is not your truth. It is your limitation talking. And you are not here to live by limitations. You are here to dominate them. You will never know who you truly are until you are tested. You will never know how far you can go until you push past what is comfortable. Growth begins the moment comfort ends. It will hurt, it will scare you, you will doubt yourself, but do it anyway. Take the risk, speak up. Take the leap, put yourself in the fire, and trust that you will not be destroyed, you will be refined. The people who win in this world are not those who had no fear. They are those who learned to take action regardless of it. They are the ones who understood that fear is part of the journey, but it does not get to be the driver. You must be the one who decides, "I will not be controlled by fear. I will not be lulled to sleep by comfort. I will rise, I will push, and I will prevail." The road to success is not paved in ease. It is carved in pressure, in sacrifice, in moments where you wanted to quit but didn't. And those moments, my friend, are what build the unshakable foundation of a powerful life. So do not wait to feel ready. Do not wait for it to feel easy. It never will. You must move forward while your knees shake. You must speak truth while your voice trembles. You must stand tall while the weight feels unbearable, because when you do, the fear will shrink, the discomfort will strengthen you, and the limits that once defined you will disappear behind you. You are more than your fear. You are greater than your pain. And every time you push through discomfort, you become more of who you were born to be. Act boldly. Walk forward, push yourself, and break free. There is no success without discipline. There is no greatness without effort. These are not opinions. They are laws, immutable, inescapable, and carved into the foundation of every worthy achievement. Look around you. Everything of value you see, every invention, every fortune, every empire was built not on luck, not on ease, but on the back of discipline. It is the cornerstone of progress, and until you learn to master it, your potential will remain a prisoner to your emotions, your impulses, and your excuses. Discipline is doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. It is rising early when your body craves sleep. It is pushing forward when your mind whispers rest. It is saying no to the temporary pleasure so you can say yes to the permanent reward. You see, most people wait to feel inspired before they act. That is why they remain average. Winners act whether they feel inspired or not. They understand a secret the masses never grasp. Feelings are fickle, principles are power. Discipline is a principle. And those who obey it become masters of their own destiny. Effort, too, is not a choice, it is the price. You will not be rewarded for what you plan to do. You will not be promoted for what you dream of achieving. Life pays in full, but only those who pay in advance with consistent, relentless effort. How much effort are you giving to your goals? Not just when it's easy, not just when it's convenient, but when it hurts, when it's late, when no one is watching. You will never outpace the man who works when others sleep. You will never overtake the man who shows up when others make excuses. And you will never achieve greatness while treating effort like a part, time commitment. Let me be direct. You do not deserve success if you are not willing to earn it. Do not talk about how badly you want it if you are not willing to bleed for it. Do not speak of dreams while living in habits that destroy them. Wanting is not enough. Wishing is not enough. Only work, sustained, focused, disciplined work, will carry you from where you are to where you want to be. Discipline makes the weak strong. It transforms the scattered into the focused. It takes the man with nothing and molds him into a force the world cannot ignore. But here's the truth. Discipline will not come find you. You must build it, one choice at a time, one small promise kept. One day at a time. It starts with waking up when you said you would, doing the work when it's hard, saying no when it's easier to say yes. You think that effort doesn't matter because you don't see immediate results. But every drop of sweat, every extra rep, every late night, every early morning is a brick, and those bricks are building a foundation that no storm can shake. The problem is not that people don't have dreams. The problem is that most people won't pay for them. They want freedom, but not the discipline it requires. They want the crown, but not the work that comes before it. And so they live in quiet frustration, knowing they could be more, do more, achieve more, but never willing to pay the price. Make no mistake, there is a price. You will either pay the price of discipline now or the price of regret later. And regret is the heavier cost. It compounds, it lingers. Discipline, on the other hand, rewards, it multiplies. It builds character, confidence, and unstoppable momentum. Effort is your vote for the future you desire. Every action is a signal to life itself, declaring what you are willing to endure for what you want. And life responds, not to intention but to initiative. So build the discipline, pour in the effort, not when it's perfect. Not when you feel like it, but now, today, while it's hard, while it's lonely, while no one claps, because the man who can stay committed when it's hard will own the moment when it becomes easy. Let the others take shortcuts, let them seek comfort, but you make the decision to become unstoppable. Not with noise, not with talk, but with effort, with discipline, with action, because in the end, success is not given. It is earned brick by brick, step by step, day by disciplined day, and the man who understands this will never be denied. Failure is not the end, it is the beginning. It is not the enemy, it is the teacher. The only men who are defeated by failure are those who misunderstand its purpose. Most people run from failure as if it were a curse. They see it as shame, as loss, as a sign to quit. But those who rise to greatness know better. They understand that every fall contains instruction, that every mistake reveals a path, that every setback is a setup for the man who refuses to stay down. The road to success is not paved in gold. It is carved through trial, error, correction, and perseverance. No man has ever accomplished anything worthwhile without being struck down, misunderstood, rejected, or ridiculed. And yet he continued, not because he enjoyed failure, but because he recognized its value. Failure reveals what needs to be fixed. It shines a light on the weak points in your armor, not to embarrass you, but to prepare you for battle. It strips away illusions, it kills arrogance, and if you are wise, you will thank it for doing so. When you fail, do not collapse. Do not curse the ground or the sky. Do not point fingers or make excuses. Instead, ask the only question that matters: what is this trying to teach me? Because within every failure lies a seed, a lesson, a principle, and if you find that seed, nurture it and plant it in the soil of discipline. You will rise stronger than before. But if you choose to ignore the lesson, to wallow in pity, to retreat in fear, then you have wasted the most valuable gift failure can offer: growth. Listen well, failure only becomes permanent when you accept it as your identity. Failing at something does not make you a failure. It means you tried. and trying is the first act of courage in a world full of hesitation. The man who never fails is the man who never attempts. He plays it safe, he hides, he avoids discomfort, and so he avoids transformation. But the man who dares, who takes action, who moves forward despite uncertainty, he will meet failure, yes, but he will also meet victory. And here's the strange truth: they often wear the same mask. What looks like defeat may only be the final test before the breakthrough. What feels like loss may only be the stretching of your character before the reward. You must not quit because you've fallen. Falling is part of learning to stand. You must not lose heart because your plans failed. Plans can change. Visions can evolve. What matters is that you keep moving, keep refining, keep pushing. Failure is not fatal unless you decide it is. Think of every inventor, every leader, every pioneer in history. How many times did they fail? How many doors were slammed in their faces? How many nights did they sit in silence, wrestling with doubt? And yet they kept going. They turned their failures into fuel, their setbacks into stepping stones, and because of that, the world remembers their names. So why should your story be any different? Do not hide your scars. Wear them as badges of honor. They prove you showed up. They prove you fought. And most importantly, they prove you learned. The question is not whether you will fail. You will. That is certain. The question is, what will you do next? Will you cry out that it's unfair, or will you ask, what can I do better? Will you shut down, or will you rise up? Because in that decision lies your destiny. That is the defining moment, not the failure itself, but your response to it. Understand this. You are being forged, shaped, strengthened. Each failure is the fire, and you are the metal. The more you endure, the more unbreakable you become. Let others fear failure. Let them retreat into comfort. But you walk through the fire, you face it head on, you embrace it, learn from it, and rise because of it. Do that, and no failure will ever defeat you. You will not just survive, you will conquer. The man who wins is not always the fastest, the smartest, or the strongest, but he is always the one who stays the course. Success bows only to those who move with unwavering consistency. Not in bursts, not in fits of inspiration, but in deliberate daily action that compounds into mastery. You cannot plant a seed today, neglect it for weeks, and expect a harvest. The same is true for your goals. They demand nurturing. They require effort every day, not just when you feel motivated, not just when the path is clear, but especially when it isn't. The masses chase quick fixes. They want instant results, overnight success, magic formulas, and that is why they remain in mediocrity. But you, if you are to rise, must understand this truth. Progress is built in the daily grind. One action repeated with discipline becomes a force. Small steps taken every single day build unstoppable momentum, and momentum is the lifeblood of success. There is no honor in working hard once. Anyone can sprint, anyone can start, but the man who finishes is the man who shows up day after day, long after the excitement is gone. He works while others sleep. He practices when others play. He continues when others quit. And what drives him is not hype, it is purpose. You must become a man of deliberate habits. Your results will never rise above your routines. Look at your day, your schedule, your actions. Are they aligned with the future you say you want? Because if not, then all you have are wishes dressed as goals. What you do today is your vote for who you become tomorrow. Consistency is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is not praised, but it is powerful. Quietly, steadily, it builds character. It builds skills. It builds credibility with yourself. And when the world finally notices the man you have become, it will call you an overnight success, never knowing the years of unseen labor that brought you there. You must not be deceived by how slow growth appears. Results do not always show up right away, but rest assured every disciplined act is shaping you, even when it seems invisible. Like water shaping stone, every drop of effort counts. Discipline yourself to act daily, even when it feels like nothing is changing. The breakthrough is always closer than it seems, and it belongs to the man who refuses to stop. Most people work when it's easy, but life changes for the one who works when it's hard, the one who works when no one else does, the one who keeps their vision in front of them and does what is required again and again, no matter the circumstances. Let others be ruled by emotion, you must be ruled by purpose. Let others wait for motivation, you must train yourself to move with resolve. Set your sights high, but more importantly, set your actions in motion. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality, between desire and achievement. And remember this, you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have all the answers. But you must act. Success does not demand perfection. It demands persistence. Your work will not always be pretty. Your progress will not always be visible, but if you are consistent, the compound effect will not fail you. It never does. It is law. Just as water, drop by drop, can wear away the hardest rock, your steady, focused actions will shape a new life. They will destroy the old version of you, the one that quit, the one that doubted, and they will reveal the version that was hidden, waiting, powerful. So commit, not to intensity, but to consistency. It is not what you do once in a while that changes your life. It is what you do every single day, your habits, your routines, your rituals. These are the foundation stones of greatness. If you desire change, then let today be your day of decision. Decide to show up, not occasionally, but daily. Not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's hard. Decide to be consistent in action, ruthless in discipline, and unshakable in your mission. For the man who does that, there is no goal too distant, no dream too large, no obstacle too great. And in time, the world will watch in awe, as your steady effort builds a life they never thought possible. But you knew it was, because you did the work. You are not a puppet, you are not a victim, you are not some wandering soul tossed by fate or chance or luck. You are the architect of your own destiny. The greatest lie ever told is that life happens to you, that you must wait for a break, a miracle, or the approval of others. But the truth, the liberating, terrifying, beautiful truth, is this: you hold the pen, you write the script. You choose the ending. The man who wins in life does not wait for permission. He doesn't hope that something will change. He realizes that the power has been his all along, power to act, power to choose, power to build, and once that realization burns into his mind, he stops waiting and starts creating. Understand this. Every thought you hold, every belief you accept, every decision you make is shaping your future. Not in theory, in reality. You are moving either toward your highest potential or away from it. There is no neutral path. Each moment is a vote, each action a declaration. The man who walks with purpose, who lives by principles, who acts with intention, he bends life to his will. He does not control the world around him, but he masters the one thing that truly matters, himself. Your circumstances may be challenging. Your beginnings may be humble, but they are not your fate unless you declare them to be. There are men who have risen from nothing, less than nothing, because they decided to take hold of their minds and command their direction. And there are men who have been handed every advantage and squandered all of it because they refused to take responsibility for their own choices. You must decide now, will you live by design or by default? The moment you take full ownership of your life, your actions, your habits, your mindset, you separate yourself from the masses. You become dangerous to the forces of mediocrity. You become a man who no longer waits for opportunity, but creates it. This does not mean the path will be easy. It means the path will be yours, and that is far more valuable. You will not always feel ready, you will not always feel qualified, but you must act anyway. The readiness comes from action. The confidence comes from movement. The growth comes from doing the very thing you thought you could not do. Every man has inside of him a sleeping giant, a force of strength, of clarity, of willpower. But that giant only awakens when you stop making excuses and start making decisions. You are not your past, you are not your failures, you are not your fears, you are whatever you decide to become next. And you decide that by the thoughts you feed, the goals you chase, the actions you take. Look around at the life you are living. It is a mirror. It reflects your standards, your patterns, your mindset. If you do not like what you see, do not curse the mirror. Change the man who is standing in front of it. There is no force more powerful than a man who accepts full responsibility for his life. He no longer blames the world. He no longer waits for rescue. He looks in the mirror and says, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And then he gets to work. He builds discipline, he sets goals, he trains his mind to focus, he rewires his habits, and brick by brick, day by day, he constructs the life he was born to live. Not handed to him, but earned through vision and sweat. Your destiny does not reside in the stars, it resides in your choices, not someday, today. What will you do with this truth? Will you bury it beneath excuses? Or will you rise with it in your hands like a sword and carve a new future with it? This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Now is when you declare what kind of man you will become. Now is when you stop waiting for a sign and become the sign. Now is when you shake off the lies that have held you down and step fully into the truth. You were never powerless. You were only unaware of your power, but now that you know, there are no more excuses, only action, because the life you dream of isn't found. It is built, and the builder has always been you.